Can sometimes be difficult to identify the most promising stocks to trade. With thousands upon thousands of stocks trading on US exchanges, reviewing all of them to look for an attractive opportunity is impossible. Meanwhile, limiting one's focus to a very small, manageable list of names may miss good setups on other charts. This is where stock scanners come in. Scanners help reduce a very large universe of stocks to a more easily reviewable watch list of stocks which have a good chance of providing tradable setups. Stock scanners are computer software which can evaluate features on a stock chart to see if that chart meets specific criteria. Because the computer can evaluate a chart very quickly, it can whittle down many thousands of stocks to a small watch list, which can more easily be reviewed by a trader. Each scanner is different and has a different set of features. Some can identify various price patterns, including candlestick patterns and other technical analysis patterns. Others can identify a variety of conditions with indicators built into the software. This often includes things like moving averages, oscillators like RSI and stochastics, trending indicators like DMI and ADX, and many others. Some scanners look for conditions with custom indicators, which makes it possible to find setups relative to Simpler Trading's proprietary tools, like the Squeeze Pro, Ready Aim Fire Pro, and 10X bars. Now, the terms stock scanner and stock screener are often used interchangeably. It's easy to understand why. Aside from sounding similar, they each take a large universe of stock symbols and reduce it to a smaller list. Screeners generally have a focus on features of a stock which are not necessarily seen on the chart. Things like a company's sector, PE ratio, dividend, average analyst opinion, and other similar sorts of measures. They also contain some things like average volume and price, which can be seen on a chart, but for which a chart might not be needed. Now, scanners, on the other hand, generally have some of the things associated with screeners, but then add on all of those abilities to identify features which are exclusive to charts. As I mentioned earlier, these terms are sometimes used interchangeably, so you may come across scanners identified as screeners and vice versa. Because of this, and because features vary from scanner to scanner and screener to screener, it's better to focus on the specific features you need for your setups rather than how a particular product is labeled. I work regularly with 3 scanners: thinkorswim and TradeStation, which I have here, and then also the Simpler Trading scanner. Now, when it comes to thinkorswim or TradeStation, right, these are both trading platforms I chart with and trade on. Each one has very capable and flexible scanners. The flexibility comes at the expense of a learning curve, and both require a certain amount of technical ability to design scans. Now, we have within Simpler Trading a number of resources to help traders create scans for setups that our traders use regularly and for setups involving many of our proprietary indicators. So those can help get you up the learning curve if you want to scan on those platforms. The Simpler Trading scanner is web-based, so it can find setups and be used by virtually any trader, no matter what platform is used for trading. And while it doesn't have the flexibility of the platform-based scanners to create custom scans, it's already loaded with a large collection of scans for setups we here at Simpler Trading have found to be very effective. Now, when I'm looking for an options trade, let's say, I love to find setups like this one in Arch. Now, when buying calls or buying puts, an options trader has all the directional considerations of a stock trader, but also needs to understand the underlying stock, or also needs the underlying stock to move fast enough to make money before the options value decays too much, or even worse, before it expires. John Carter's Squeeze Pro, right, this indicator down here, is a fantastic tool for this purpose. You can see that that Arch was in an uptrend prior to this consolidation right here. And once it entered that consolidation, the Squeeze Pro started turning red in here, indicating a period of consolidation and a good spot to look to take a trade when Arch does break out of that consolidation. And you can see when it did, there were several consecutive days of sharp move, which is fantastic for calls because it moves quickly in the direction of the trend. Now, here on April 11th, right before that move up, this stock appeared on our simpler trading scanner for exactly this purpose, right? For something, so it showed up on this particular scan. Now, this is the current version, not how it looked on April 11th, but what this scan shows is exactly what we're looking for. Stocks in an uptrend with a daily squeeze that then have the potential to have sharp movements out of consolidation fast enough that buying calls, in the case of a stock in an uptrend, can make you some money. So there are lots of scans with the squeeze in here, and of course, as I mentioned, we have resources for building scans using the squeeze in other platforms. Day traders have different considerations when scanning. The shorter time frames a trader is working with, the more that trader needs to react quickly. Additionally, day trading often works best with very liquid stocks. One approach to day trading is to scan for setups, just like we saw in Arch before, but to see those setups appear on a smaller time frame. So, for example, here looking for some 15-minute squeezes in a trend with, and in this case, with some voodoo lines in the direction of that trend for a target. Of course, here today, nothing is meeting that criteria right at the end of the day. But this is one way to do things. Now, another way is to go and still use scans on a longer time frame, perhaps the night before or early in the morning, to build a list of stocks that is likely to have good movement the next day, but not to scan for the particular setup. Then, with a watch list of those stocks and ideally a bit of screen real estate dedicated to the chart of each one, it makes it easier to watch a small number of liquid stocks likely to move to get a feel for how it's moving intraday and then watch each one for a setup. So different traders will have different approaches to day trading, but those are the two common ways to go about it. However you trade, scans can help to identify good candidate stocks, and so long as you keep a few things in mind, right, such as knowing the setups you like to trade first, and then finding scans which identify good candidate stocks. In other words, don't use the scan as the setup, use the setup as the setup, and the scan to find good stocks that are set up. If you do it that way, then your scans don't need to be perfect. They just need to do their job of narrowing a large list of stocks down to a manageable list of candidates which you can then evaluate yourself by looking at the charts and seeing which ones appear attractive.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me